What's going on, everyone? My name is Ekuegan. You can find me at twitch.tv/Ekuegan. I decided to take a little project on and try to do something different from your average bone spear necromancer. Bone spear hits really hard, as you know. It's very popular within the Diablo community, and a lot of folks love it. I ran bone spear before the season came out, and I enjoyed it, but I felt like when we were going higher up in tiers, I didn't have that much survivability, and I was able to do enough damage, but I couldn't like get in and get out of situations that I wanted to. So I decided to go the blood route for this season, and yes, I do understand that tier 100s are much easier this season than they were in the past, but once again, I've done a bunch in the past, so I kind of know the difference between the two. They're still kind of a little bit shaky if you don't pay attention to what you're doing. Now, I've been working on this for maybe about a week. I looked at different builds from other players, things that have been posted up, and I've been trying to pick brains on what to go for a piece of armor and what to go for on your gear, what to prioritize, what to not prioritize, and this is what I ended up with. In this video here, you're going to see that I just completed the tier 100s. The whole setup, it is completely blood options here. You can kind of see that like all of my options, I have 3 things for blood, I have shadow, and then I have my core central. It took me a while. I kept choosing different parts of this every day as I was working on it. And this is what I ended up with. All right. So if you have any questions, you can always find me on Twitch, or you can just send me a message in the Discord. If you want to join the Discord, we have a community Discord. We have room for different classes. So if you play a certain class, we'll talk about it. You want to share your build with other people, you're more than welcome to join the Discord for that. Now let's go through some of the gameplay here. So one neat thing about Bloodlance that I like is the ability to chain the lance to several targets and then be able to like stack damage on one target and then have it go around. Another neat thing is having blood orbs. Blood orbs in this setup is going to help you not only heal, but it's also going to help you in terms of damage. Another neat thing that I wanted to add on to this is I didn't get the perfect chest piece. So if you're looking at the build setup, you're going to notice that I was going for something else on my chest piece. I was one off, but it happens. And we have infinite, you basically have infinite miss because you'll have about maybe 6 seconds for that on the cooldown if you need to also use that to heal, okay? So perfect example here. If I run into a group of enemies, more than likely the Bloodlance is going to put in a lot of work. And you'll notice even here, there are times when my health goes down a lot, right? And you're going to notice that as I'm hitting targets, my health bar keeps going back up. I'm getting fortified. So for this build, maximum life is another thing that we kind of look into. And overpower. Overpower is the main base of my damage. I'm also going to show you in a bit here, without the Barber Heart, the damage that you're actually going to see. One of the things about using Barber is you're not going to see the orange crit, which is basically an overpower crit hit, right? The overpower is blue, and then overpower crit is orange. The only reason why you're not going to see that is because Barber kind of takes that number and puts it into just one number. So you'll generally see, even here, you'll only see yellow numbers. But I'm also going to share a preview of like Barber on, Barber off, so you can kind of understand it. One of the coolest things about this class too is survivability, right? You get in a pinch, you can pop your miss to kind of get out. As long as you are breaking down some corpse, because every time you break down some corpse, it reduces the cooldown. With this setup, I also have it to where anytime you kind of overpower, you get another 2 seconds down off of your cooldown. So now let's go over what I have on each piece of gear, and then we can kind of dive in a little bit more. So on each piece of gear, perfect example here, on my helmet, it took a while to get a good helmet. I don't know why. It took forever, but damage for 4 seconds after picking up a blood orb seems to be very rare on helmets. So if you're going for a helmet, maybe try to make sure that you have that on, because trying to roll for it, I spent almost like 15 mil and didn't get it. All right, so on my helmet, damage for 4 seconds after picking up a blood orb, maximum life, total armor, cooldown reduction. You're going to see that I'm running disobedience here. So I do gain a certain amount of increased armor when I deal any form of damage, stacking up to 30%. It used to be 50, now it's up to 30. On my chest, maximum life, damage reduction while fortified, damage reduction from close, and total armor. If I had to choose, I would probably do damage after you pick up a blood orb, maximum life, damage reduction from close, damage reduction while fortified, or you can do total armor. It's between fortified and total armor. That is completely up to you. Whatever you feel like will fit your playstyle. Now, normally on my amulet, I would have on the Barber Heart. Critical strikes and all subsequent damage within a certain amount is absorbed by your target. So normally this would be on there. Another heart that you can probably use would be the Cycling Heart or the Minion one, where minions drain your essence, but you do a certain amount of damage. I tried doing the damage over time effect because my build does help me do damage to stun enemies, but when I tried it against unstoppable monsters, stagger bosses, I didn't really see the benefit of it. So Creeping Death wasn't the best play for me in this instance. So if you're out there, you're wondering why I went Barber, that is why, because I tried the other hearts. I wasn't a huge fan of them. In terms of rings, Lucky Hit. Lucky Hit is something that you want a lot of. Sadly, I think I'm only at 30. Another reason why I'm running Wand is because I wanted my Lucky Hit to be up more. So the base affix for Wands is Lucky Hits. You want to go for all stat, damage to close, damage to stun, and overpower. Overpower is, for this build, is very important. You'll notice that my overpower, I got it up to, let's see here. My overpower is at 1804. Another reason is I sacrificed a Lucky Hit on my gloves. I went with crit strike chance, attack speed, overpower, and Lucky Hit to restore primary resource. Here's what you can do. If you really want the Lucky Hit that much, you can always give up the attack speed, because you can get the attack speed from various things on the Paragon board. Let's see here. My attack speed, it will go up to about 123, as you can see there. But if you're out there and you're worried more about your Lucky Hit than your attack speed, because my Lucky Hit is only at 30 right now, if you feel like you need more Lucky Hit, definitely go for that on the gloves. Pants, someone kind of recommended Temerity. Temerity is cool, but I wanted maximum life. I wanted damage reduction. I wanted damage reduction from distant and close, because there are times where you can't see enemies on your radar, and it's nice to just have that there. That on top of the Shielding Storm kind of works well, because each time that Bone Storm damages an enemy, I gain barrier equal to a certain percentage of my life. And the very nice thing about pairing that with Lidless Wall is that whenever I have an active Bone Storm, hitting an unaffected enemy has a 20% chance to spawn an additional storm. So all of these storms kind of help out, because my I basically get more fortify, or I get like that shield from there. All right. On pants, we have Blood Mist trigger corpse explosion. This is what's going to help with the cooldown for your Blood Mist. And when Blood Mist detonates the corpse, its cooldown is reduced by 0.5 seconds. If you can get between 0.4 to 0.5, you should be good on that. 0.5 is definitely what you want to go for. Now, one of my main source of damage is going to be Blood Lance, and you'll notice that I'm running Hungry Blood and Gore Kills. Gore Kills, casting Blood Lance will consume blood orbs to also conjure lances from them. Each additional Blood Lance deals a certain amount of damage. See, I was going to run the aspect that basically gave me blood orbs. Well, I had a chance to give me blood orbs, depending on how many consumed corpse that I had. There's an aspect when you consume an orb, you have a up to 30% chance to make a blood orb. Maybe you can somehow fit this into this build. I just felt like having just Gore Kills and Bloody aspect was much better, because when I cast a Blood Lance, it's going to consume blood orbs, and it's going to conjure lances from them, which allows me to do a little bit more damage on other targets. And then if you pair that together with each cast of Blood Lance will launch additional Blood Lance at nearby enemies and hitting them for a certain amount, you basically get to chain damage on enemies, and I'll try to show that here too. On the second ring, I went with Potent Blood, which is the aspect. While at full life, blood orbs grant SS as well. And having your SS up allows you to kind of spam this, because we're also building it to attack speed, so you can get your lances out as quick as possible. Why do you want to get lances out as quick as possible too? Because we're stacking that up with Barber. So as much damage as you can put out, you stack it, and then you just let it go. So that's what makes this build kind of fun. Now, let's say that you're having troubles with your essence. Hemorrhage works really well, because, I mean, after maybe 4 hemorrhage on a target, my essence is normally back up to full, which allows me to just keep going. In this setup, I like running Decrep, and I actually leveled up Decrep to 4 because it curses the target area. I am not running the Decrep heart because I didn't feel like I needed it. But enemies hit while afflicted with decrep have a 10% chance to be stunned for 2 seconds. Not only that, but they also have a 15% chance to reduce any of your active cooldown by 1 second, which is very nice. Now, I also leveled this up a little bit more because I wanted that damage reduction from enemies. So enemies afflicted by decrep are also slowed, but not only are they slowed, but they also deal less damage, which means more survivability. All right. So if you need all the breakdown, all the classes, every choice that I made on this board, it will be in there on the link in the description. I also have like a little level up steps that you can follow basically as you're going through this. But this is basically what my skill tree looks like. I changed my skill tree a bunch of times, and this is what I landed on. Now, the Paragon is another thing. If you see a different Paragon board out there that you feel like that might help out with blood much better, definitely let me know in the comment section. But this is what I ended up going with. And honestly, I'm still questioning if I even should do resistance to all elements. I might take this away at some point. I do like the 10 intelligence here, but I might take that out and I might go somewhere else with it. Maybe put in another willpower because willpower also helps out my overpower damage. One thing I wanted to show is this. So I was using a different heart because the barber heart won't allow you to see your crit damage for overpower. So your crit damage for overpower is going to be, orange, okay? Overpower is blue. So normally if you're going into instance and you find enemies, you're gonna notice that boom, I popped that blue and I saw the orange, and both of those are overpower damage. All right, so anytime you see orange or blue, you know that is overpower damage. Now, when I switch the heart out, you're not gonna see the orange numbers, but I just want to let you know that those orange numbers are still there. It just happens that you're going to go immune, so then the barber basically takes all that damage and then puts it out as 1. So you're going to see it as a yellow number. So if I switch this heart, right, now we're going to go to the barber heart, for example. Let's say that I curse this target and I hit him a few times. He's going to die. You might see some blue numbers, but you're probably never going to see any orange numbers because the barber heart is probably going to stack really quickly. So if you're out there, you're wondering why you're probably not seeing orange numbers, that's why. You're still doing the damage. You just won't see it as effectively. But if you see a big group, you hit one up, you're going to notice that the blood lance is going to basically align them together. And if they get tied up like this, they're all going to more likely burst and die because the barber is also another thing that just explodes on targets. But that's about it. I feel like I have a lot to say, but I don't have too much to say. If you have any questions, you could definitely find me at twitch.tv/Ekuegan. Paragon board is up there. Hearts that you need are up there. I don't know if a lot of people actually use this devious heart here, but I kind of like it because you have a 19% chance of inflicting fear for 4 seconds. Feared enemies are chilled for 20 seconds. I think this will also allow me to kind of like work into maybe damage to chill enemies in the future. But the neat thing about this is this. If you are using Blood Lance on a huge crowd and some of them get fear, they're going to step away, which means that lance may go on to another target that's a little bit further away as well. So I liked it. I rotated all of the different hearts, and these were the best 3 combo for me. It was the lucky hit with the chance of inflicting fear, walking near corpse automatically activated the equip core skill, and then the barber heart. One thing to pay attention to is if you end up making this build and you're not running the same things here, and you decide to run the corpse explosion, just make sure that tendrils comes before the corpse explosion. The reason why I say that is because if you're running that heart that I just spoke about, when you're walking near a corpse, it automatically activate an equips corpse skill. Whichever one is first, that is the one that is going to prioritize. So if you put corpse explosion before corpse tendril, it is not going to proc your tendril as much as it will proc the explosion. All right, but that's about it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. Deuces.